Can a spreadsheet connect to any data source, clean messy data, write Python and SQL, build interactive charts, and generate an executive summary from multiple sheets? That's what I'm testing today with Quadratic. Data analysis used to happen mostly in spreadsheets, but now the work is spread across different tools. We've got spreadsheets, Python, SQL, APIs, dashboards, and AI assistants. Quadratic brings all those capabilities into one workspace, which is why I think of it as part of the next generation of spreadsheet tools, or Spreadsheet 2.0. It's more connected, more programmable, and more agile, even for non-programmers like me. Quadratic is sponsoring this video. If you'd like to follow along, use the links in the video description to sign up for free and download the example files. I'll use an e-commerce dataset with sales, inventory, and marketing data spread across multiple sheets. The data isn't perfect either. The marketing dates are inconsistent, some are entered as text, and there's a hidden duplicate record. It's the kind of cleaning work you'd normally need to do before you could trust the analysis. I'll close the file, and on Quadratic's homepage, you'll find your existing files, which you can organize into folders just like you might on your PC or SharePoint. You can connect to existing data sources, and there are loads of connectors already available. Plus, you can use AI to connect to a source not listed. Now for this demo, I'm going to drag in my e-commerce file. If you're curious about security, Quadratic's site mentions they're SOC 2 and HIPAA compliant, and that it has a 0-day data retention policy for its AI models. As with any workplace software, you should still follow your company's internal data policies. For this workthrough, I'm using sample data. We can see here Quadratic's uploaded the file and opened it in a familiar spreadsheet layout. At the top, I've got drop-down menus and a quick access toolbar for formatting. I can navigate to the different sheets using the tabs. You can see I've got data for search trends, returns, stock, products, orders, and my marketing data. On the left is my AI chat pane. Here I can choose the model I want to work with, bring in data from other sources, including PDFs and images, as well as databases and business tools like QuickBooks and Google Analytics. If I want to ask a question related to a specific sheet, I can use the @ icon. And under more options, I can use AI to enhance my prompt before sending it, set up rules, choose languages, and enable notifications. Under the chat field, Quadratic has some suggestions based on my data. They're categorized by enriching, cleaning, visualizing, and analyzing. Now, my goal here is to see whether Quadratic can shorten the path from raw business data to decisions. So let's start with cleaning. It's already spotted that the dates in the marketing sheet month column aren't consistent. They're not just inconsistent, they're a mess. Many of them are entered as text, and if you know anything about dates, fixing this is not easy, even with Power Query. So let's see how Quadratic goes. You can see the Quadratic indicator in cell A1 to let me know that it's editing the sheet. And this is a good time to mention that you can share your files with colleagues and work on them at the same time. Okay, the dates are tidied up. That was way easier than I was anticipating. Let's add a new chat. We'll clean the marketing sheet duplicates and let's see if it finds it. Great, it passed that test as well. Now my data is ready to analyze. In Excel, I'd have to start by adding formulas to the orders sheet to calculate the revenue by taking the quantity times the unit price, and then I have to copy that down. On the stock sheet, I don't have my category, and I need that because I want to summarize the data by category. So I'd have to add an XLOOKUP that looks up the SKU in the product sheet and then returns the category, and that's all doable. We even have a nice big formula pane that makes it easy to write complex formulas, but that's a lot of work for me. So instead, let's delete those and we'll ask Quadratic to do the work. I'm going to add a new chat and paste in my prompt that says, on a new sheet, calculate revenue, units sold, average discount, gross margin, ad spend, clicks, return rate, stock on hand, search interest, and month-over-month revenue change by category. This will be a good test because it will need to read the data from multiple sheets to calculate these metrics. For example, I don't have a sheet that contains the revenue, as we saw, so it will need to calculate that for each order, then work out the margin, incorporate the marketing, stock on hand, etc., and then summarize it all by category. You can see it's noticed that the categories are inconsistent across the sheets, so it's had to normalize them before it can summarize them. That's another little test it's passed. It's inserted a new sheet for the category summary, and we can see there's a Python table that summarized the data. It's just going through formatting it for me, which I didn't actually ask for, so that's a nice touch. And it's finished. It's pointed out that the month-on-month revenue change is sharply negative across categories. I didn't ask it to tell me that, but that's helpful. And it's sorted the data by revenue in descending order. I can click on the column headers to change the sort order as required. And for the Python coders among us, you can click on the drop down here, open the code editor, where you can make changes if you need. And for those of us who aren't comfortable with Python code, you can continue to code with AI. Okay, going back to the chat pane, let's continue with our analysis and ask it to add a combo column and line chart visualizing revenue versus margin. And it's put it over to the right. I don't want it there, so let's left click and we'll drag it back across underneath our Python table. The horizontal axis doesn't have a lot of space, so let's make the chart wider. It's still got the axis labels on an angle. I don't like that. Let's ask it to format the horizontal axis labels horizontally. And of course, if you knew Python, you could just go in and edit the Python code and do it yourself. But I'm not a Python expert, so this is super handy for me. Now the chart's fully interactive. I can left click and zoom in on certain bits and double click to zoom back out. And you saw earlier that you can just left click and drag to move it and resize it. I want to know which product categories have promotion opportunities and operational risks. So let's give it another test. I want it to create an opportunity and risk score for each product category using the revenue trend, margin, stock, return rate, ad spend, efficiency, and search interest trend. And I want it returned in a ranked table, and let's put it on the category summary sheet. It's completed that task. I'll just hold down Shift and scroll right to move over to the table. Let's select the columns and double click to resize them. Again, it's returned a Python table. It's made some assumptions about how to weight the inputs to calculate the opportunity score, risk score, and the net score. Obviously, you'd use your business knowledge to help shape how the calculations are derived. Now, it's asking, does it want me to add a quadrant scatter opportunity versus risk chart to visualize where each category falls? Let's go ahead and add that. It's noticed that the labels overlap the quadrant captions, so it's going to fix the spacing. Again, this is a Python chart, so it's fully interactive. I can left click and zoom in. Hovering over the dots gives me the tooltips, and double click to zoom back out. Now that we have a good feel for the data and our opportunities, let's see how it goes at creating an executive summary. So we'll add a new chat. On a new sheet, create an executive summary that reviews the analysis and makes recommendations for promotion opportunities and operational risks. Let's see how it goes with this final challenge. And the result is a new sheet, nicely formatted, that gives us a snapshot of the business that we could present to management. It's grouped the promotion opportunities and operational risks together, and then we have some key recommendations. So in a few prompts, we've gone from raw sheets to cleaned data, Python outputs, and interactive charts, and a written summary. Before I wrap up, there are a couple of workflow features worth pointing out. One thing I really like is how all the chats are organized. I can search through them to find relevant sections, which makes it easy to refer back to and quickly continue the work. And if I have recurring reports, I can schedule it to automatically update, completely automating the workflow from gathering and cleaning data to reporting. So is Quadratic Spreadsheet 2.0? As a rapid analysis workspace, Quadratic is impressive. If you'd like to try this workflow yourself, I've linked to Quadratic and the sample file in the video description. What I like is that it keeps the familiar structure of a spreadsheet, but adds the tools that modern data work often needs. AI, Python, SQL, formulas, charts, and data connections all in one place. And because the AI works inside the spreadsheet, the output isn't a black box. Quadratic can help clean the data, write formulas or code, run the analysis, and build the outputs, while leaving the logic visible and editable. You still need to review important assumptions and conclusions before using them for business decisions, but you're not starting from scratch. or blindly accepting an answer. And that makes Quadratic a powerful analysis workspace, with AI doing much of the legwork while you stay in control of the result. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.